Today, I'm going to talk about the biggest mistakes that new officers normally make. This is to aid and help the new officers. If you work with me, you know I like helping you new officers, and I want y'all to be successful. And if you don't want to be successful, I help you be successful, get out the gate. But I want you to be safe while we're in the gate. That's why I want you successful. This is a very dangerous job that we do. Um, don't take everything literal. But the first biggest mistake that new correctional officers make is trying to prove themselves quickly. When you come in the gates the first time, there's nothing that you need to prove. Act yourself, sit back, watch what's going on, observe your environment. That's the biggest key. Some officers believe they must immediately show the inmates and veteran staff that they are tough. Fake confidence. Officers can read it. Inmates can read it. Don't do it. Be yourself. They may raise their voice, argue over minor issues, or turn every situation into confrontation. Confrontation is not the time to do it as a new officer. Don't start your career off on the wrong foot. Real authority does not come from yelling. The best officers I work with are the quieter ones. They sit back, watch, observe, and when they need to contact that inmate to get them to do or follow an order, they go to them, ask them as a civil person. 9 times out of 10, you get better results. It's always better to start at your volume at a 3 or 4, because if they don't follow your direct order, you can escalate to a higher voice. You don't have to start off yelling. In fact, you don't need to yell because the job is stressful enough, and yelling causes more stress. There's no real need for it. Real authority does not come from yelling, like I stated. It comes from being calm, consistent, professional, and knowledgeable. If you're knowledgeable, professional, consistent, inmates will respect you for that. You act the same way every day. You can't be a hard ass every day and come in be a soft ass one day and then go back to hard ass, or vice versa. Another mistake is becoming too friendly with inmates. New officers sometimes want to be seen as cool officer, the officer who understands everyone. Being respectful is important, but becoming overly familiar can weaken a professional boundaries. When you sit there and talk to an inmate more than 3 minutes or so, people are going to start thinking you have a personal relationship with that inmate. Some people say, well, I don't care what the other person thinks. But I'm telling you, you do not want to build a relationship that way with the inmate. There's no need to be with an inmate more than 3 minutes or so. The circumstances is, if you're investigating something or what have you, yeah, you're going to be there longer than 3 minutes. But on average, you don't need to be there 3 minutes just bullcrapping with an inmate. Conversation can slowly become personal, and small favors can eventually turn into manipulation. If you're having a conversation with an inmate, the inmate is actually trying to draw information out of you. And more comfortable you get, more information you start giving this inmate, because you are not viewing them as an inmate no more. You're viewing them more as a personal person, like if you're at a grocery store or something. New officers also makes the mistake of promising stuff they cannot keep. An officer may tell an inmate, I'll make sure you get moved. I'll talk to the captain. I'll get that taken care of. Do not promise an inmate something you cannot promise or do yourself. If you tell an inmate you're going to give them a roll of toilet paper and you said you were going to get it, go get them that roll of toilet paper. I'm not saying go get it right then. You do it on your time. Don't make them work you to death. But if you promise something to an inmate, always give it back to them. Fulfill that promise. Don't say, hey, I'll make sure you get moved, because 9 times out of 10, you don't have the authority to move an inmate in the first place. You can give them recommendations on moving an inmate, but you do not have 100% control of moving an inmate. Normally the upper supervisors be the ones doing that, or a housing officer, what have you. Don't promise anything you can't keep. Another common mistake is failing to ask questions. There's a lot of questions in doing this career. It's a profession. There's no dumb questions to ask. Some rookies are afraid that veteran officers would think that they are inexperienced. The truth is, everyone already knows you're new. We already know you're inexperienced. We know you've never been in this environment. This environment is different than any other that you would know. You can't assume things. Ask those questions. It's safer to ask the questions than guessing and making serious mistakes. Example of this is I got a new officer just recently got certified, got involved in his first use of force. We had emergency traffic right at end of shift. Out of all times, the worst time to do it is in the shift because everybody's ready to go home. Uh, they was pulling this inmate out of the cell, and he pulled away as they was escorting the inmate. The new officer redirected him to the closest area, which so happens was a holding cell. He asked me, did I do the right thing? I said, yes. Anytime an inmate tries to buck you, pull away from you, redirect them back into the cell if you're close to it. Redirect them like he did into the holding cell. If you're not close to neither one of them, you're going to redirect them to a wall or the floor. You don't let the inmate get control. You take control back. And he did the right thing. He was very surprised that I told him you did exactly what you was trying to do. I said, that's why you play the what if game. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? Uh, and I'm very proud of that young man. He did the right thing. Another common mistake is new officers also ignore small rule violations because they don't want to create conflict. They may overlook an inmate standing in the wrong area or passing an item or covering a window. Uh, don't let them do small infractions, because what they're going to do is they're going to get used to doing the small infraction, and next thing you know, they're starting to do another infraction. The infraction starts getting bigger, and if you can't say no at the small infractions, it's going to be hard for you to say no at the bigger infractions. I'll give you an example. In a secure housing unit, my pet peeve is when I do my security checks. As an OIC, I do my OIC check. I am looking into each cell, and I walk to a cell and the cell's covered. First thought is how's my staff doing security checks? I can't see in the cell. If I can't see in the cell, I can't see a living, breathing body. How long has this window been covered? Comes to my mind. He might have just did it because he's going to use the bathroom, but here's my thoughts. When we do security checks, we glance in the cell and we walk by. We keep going. We need a clear view of what's going on in that cell. If they're using a bathroom, you're not staring at them using the bathroom. There's no need for them to cover that window. The windows are high enough and they're small enough that people can't really see in there. Don't let them do things like that. There's no real limit. I don't need you seeing me use the bathroom. It's not a pre-incident or nothing. You're just glancing in there, making sure you're living, breathing body. Inconsistency is another major problem. You want to be consistent. Every day, act the same way, follow the same rules, implement the same rules. Don't change. New officers may enforce a rule one day, but ignore it the next day. You can ignore it one day and fix it another day and go back and forth. You confuse the inmate population, and that's the last thing you want to do is keep them confused, because it builds a stressful environment for you and the inmates. Inmate quickly notes inconsistencies and can create arguments, complaints, and security problems. They'll use it against you when they have the opportunity. And anytime they have the opportunity, they will use it against you. And they take those times and they make notes, because sooner or later you're going to screw up and they're going to put a grievance in. They're going to have the right time, right area, have you under the right cameras, and you violated. Be consistent. Do the same thing every time. New officers take disrespect personally. Inmates will say cruel and unusual things to you anyways. Never take anything personal, because when you leave the gates, you don't have to see that inmate no more for the rest of the day. They don't pay your bills. You're not living with them. Nothing is personal. Leave it at the gate. Just leave it behind. Nothing they say needs to be taken personal. Another mistake is reacting to gathering information. You should always gather all the information you can on a situation. A new officer may see inmates arguing and immediately rush into the middle of it without calling for assistance. Don't run in the middle of any situation like that by yourself. Facilities I'm at, or the state I'm in, we changed the rule several years ago that we don't cuff inmates by themselves. We get another officer when we cuff the inmate up in case something does go around. You have backup there. You don't have to do that right then. We don't want you to get in the middle of a situation that you can't call for backup. Backup gets called first. Call someone in the area for backup before you do anything. It's a safe and self-measure to help yourself. New officers may also become too dependent on veteran officers. Experienced officers can provide valuable guidance, but not every shortcut and habits they teach will follow policy. Give you an example of this. You're going to hear them say, that is how we do it, or that's how we always done it. Read your policy and procedure. Follow policy and procedure. Just because they're a senior officer don't mean they're doing it right. If you follow policy and procedure, you'll always be in the safe zone, because if you start taking those shortcuts that you're being trained, it's not going to protect you. It's not going to protect your job if something goes wrong. And as a new officer, we need to protect you, because if you do the statistics of how many officers are new compared to senior officers in today's business in corrections, you will find out there's going to be more of you than senior officers. And the senior officers that's left behind, we need to make sure we're doing a good job training the new officers, because the new officers are going to be training the other new officers. And every time we lose part of that training, the new officers are making more shortcuts and they're not realizing it. So make sure you read your policy and procedure. Some rookies spend too much time sitting at the desk. They become focused on paperwork, cameras, casual conversations, and stop watching the housing units. You cannot supervise a unit properly if your head is constantly down. And that's true. And I see this a lot, because new officers and senior officers get together, they get comfortably to each other, then they start sharing things about their lives and start learning more about each other, and how you create a new friend, this, that, and the other. While you're doing that, you're not watching the housing unit. The inmates takes that time, and that's when the contraband starts floating in front of you. You don't realize it. They're doing things in front of you. You don't see it. Keep your eyes on the inmate population. They know when your conversation or bullshitting. And anytime you're bullshitting on the clock, they know it. And that's when they're going to get the contraband past you. Another mistake is waiting too long to call for backup. If your gut feeling says, hey, I need backup, call it right then. Don't second guess yourself. Call it right then. You could be saving a coworker at that moment. New officers may fear looking weak or incapable of calling for backup, because calling for assistance early can prevent a situation from becoming a use of force incident or a serious emergency. If you have a gut feeling that you need backup, get that backup. Trust your gut. Excuse me, I've been sick for a couple of days, but I want to do this video to help out the new officers. Poor report writing is another common problem. New officers may leave out important details or use emotional language, copy another officer's report, or fail to explain why they took a particular action. A weak report can make a correct decision look very questionable. That's why you need to learn what, when, where, and how something happens. That information needs to go in the documentation. Everything you do document is a legal document, like a housing log. That's why when you do the housing log and during your downtime, you don't draw on a housing log, this, that, and the other, because it is a legal document. Everything you do is a legal document. AI is getting very popular. A lot of agencies has adapted it. I got to wait. I use the AI. I'll write my incident report and I copy it, throw it through the AI, have it double check it, comes back clean, can repaste it in my documentation and report it. And if you have the tools available to you, use the tools, because you want everything documented and you want it to have all the information there. Some new officers believe believe every inmate is lying. Every inmate is not lying. I like to tell people this: when you listen to an inmate tell a story, there is some truth in it. Not every inmate's lying. Others believe that every story they hear, both extremes are dangerous. Believing 100% inmate or disbelieving 100% inmate is very extreme and dangerous. Listen professionally. Verify the information. Check the records and avoid making assumptions. Never assumption. Finally, one biggest mistake is losing your integrity to fit in. Never falsify a log. Like I said, state is a legal document. Skip a required security check. Make your security checks. Here's one thing I've been sharing with my staff is security check's a big thing. If you skip a security check now, in the future you're going to say, I didn't get caught. Then you start skipping more. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to have a dead inmate in a cell one day. You're going to skip that security check. and feel comfortable and possibly skip another one. Now you have a dead inmate that's been in a cell for 2 hours, not realize it. Now you call for backup. Life-saving measures, it's out of the question because it's beyond too late. And you're held liable to this. You will end up in court and be convicted of a crime for failing to do your job. Your job is to protect each individual, inmates, staff, themselves. If you fail to do your job security check, you fail the safety of the facility of making sure that the inmate has a living, breathing body in that cell. Don't go to jail for something stupid. Get out of the chair and make your rounds. You don't want to cover up misconduct. Write something you didn't personally see or witness. Just guys, integrity is yourself. Why would you want to start lying inside the gate? If that's not you, don't do it outside. If you don't do it outside the gates, don't do it inside the gates. Be yourself. Be your true self. And the goal is not to prove that you're the toughest officer in the facility. The goal is to become the officer who is dependable, alert, fair, professional, and prepared. And if you're all those last few things I said, you're going to be very successful in this career. There's no need to lose your integrity for a career or position or anything. Be honest to yourself. And that's pretty much it. Once again, I'm Carey Randall with Beyond the Badge Inside the Bars. If you got questions, put it in the comments below. Like, share,